and saw which of those standards were hit the hardest and most frequently, and narrowed those down to, like, I think we had about 5 or 6 that we felt were the big ones that we know are going to occur often and every time. And so that's how we decided which ones we were going to use.
That happened last year when we had an in-service day, just geometry teachers, and we were able to really take a deep dive, see what kept repeating, and then some of the ones that were, oh, this is only hit here.
8th grade was a little bit different, but we had a similar idea with our standards, and we kind of did the same thing, kind of identifying what we thought was most important or did seem to show up most. Then there also was the framework that I think you provided from the state that kind of did have a breakdown, so we kind of like cross-checked with that. Does it make sense? Like, all right, yeah, that is one of the ones that the state says should be a power standard, so are we hitting that the same way?
So between the ODE website as well as that item analysis that we received from Stark County,
Yes, we use that a lot.
resource.
That Stark County item analysis was very useful.
Because it identified our strengths and our areas of weakness.
Right. Again, the first thing that I think we did different last year was that in-service day. That was huge. And then from there, we kind of mapped out the rest of the year. That we hosted a county-wide in-service day for other geometry teachers to kind of figure out, hey, what's not working for you guys, and does that line up with what's not working for us, and what is working? And then
Same curriculum for 14 years. I think it's 14 years. And so this was new curriculum. And I even think when we were shopping around for that curriculum, we were looking for the curriculum that was going to fill in the holes that we were missing. Like, we knew we were missing some standards. We knew we were missing content that we were having to put in ourselves. Like, we were missing all of the data, or all of the probability stuff was not there. So we needed to make sure we picked a curriculum that definitely addressed that problem, because probability is huge for some reason on the geometry.
we spent more time like really wanting kids to memorize those formulas, which really was bad practice because they're given to them. So what we decided to really hammer home is how to use them. You don't need to memorize them. Yes, you need to know how it works. You need to know where to find the information and be able to plug it in. But I think our instruction was better and prepared students more.
Asking Jackie, I think a lot of the reason why a lot of our content is the way it is with the new curriculum, because I'll ask just a couple questions of like, why are we doing this, or why did we hit so hard on this, or like proofs being seen as like fill-in, because that's something that I didn't learn when I was in high school. Just a difference in kind of the curriculum that they've now structured towards the test, and seeing why we do the things that we do, I think has been huge. Kind of coming in with a fresh start, has been very helpful. And also, another thing is like they've broken it down so much into section by section quizzes instead of big long tests. So that way you are hitting those like 2 or 3 contents per quiz instead of like a whole chapter test that maybe
was 8th grade math or geometry or algebra 1. We talk about the textbook. It's not about going page to page to page. It's about the standards and what are those power standards, and that's a big task. So great job to all of you for trying to figure that out.
Not so much the data-driven part of it, but at least I think one advantage of it is exposing those kids to the types of questions that they see on the state test, which we don't necessarily always have in our textbook or in other areas. It's different when they're used to working paper pencil and different problem types in the textbook versus the state test questions are designed differently with some of the multiple selections and some of the tools they have to use. I think that's a big thing, is just exposing them to that type of environment, I think is helpful also.
Good point.
I know Corey and I will even some of our L work questions afterwards will be like, this is the type of question they would ask on a state test, and you read it like this, okay? Especially those questions that are select all that apply, or find the ones that are false, that sort of thing, where there's more than one. We'll say, this is how they answer that. See how they ask this question? They're going to ask it. So we're just we can always have that language present, trying to get them comfortable with the way those questions.
Look at the item analysis for Q2 checkpoint. So this is year 2 for you. You started with the checkpoints last year. Our approach was 3 scrimmages before the big game, or 3 checkpoints before the state assessment. And